Hey there. Many of you reached out for tips on assertiveness after reading my article on workplace narcissism, particularly moved by Elise's story and her struggle with Steve, who denied her a well-deserved promotion and offloaded his work onto her already full plate. And if you haven't checked out the article, you can access it at smartempath.com/work. smartempath.com/WORK. Well, today I want to walk you through a specific strategy that helped Elise reclaim her power and put a stop to Steve's manipulation. I'm Michael Haggstrom, doctor in counseling and founder of smartempath.com, and we're a community dedicated to navigating this world with unshakable confidence. Now, Elise initially believed, if you remember from the article, that her anxiety and low self-worth, that they were the problems. But as she delved into her workplace experiences, it became clear that she had actually faced narcissistic abuse and gaslighting. And understanding the narcissistic abuse model was so enlightening for her. Elise realized that this wasn't about her being defective, and she was eager to find solutions. Well, we initiated a 3-step process, starting with reclaiming her self-confidence and working through negative conditioning. And then next, we developed this assertiveness script for responding to Steve's belittling comments that would take place in the group meetings. The goal was not confrontation, but maintaining her confidence and standing with her peers. You see, Elise was already very confident at all she did, and because of that, she became the target of Steve, most likely that he probably felt he kind of had to take her out. And this is why if companies allow narcissism to thrive in the workplace, they are going to lose out on productivity because people like Elise, high performer, they're not going to feel safe to bring to the table their best contributions. Well, I told Elise that she was in the right place to learn how to be assertive because from her account, the organization itself was unwilling to do anything about Steve's behavior, so it was going to be up to her. She could either learn the skills of assertiveness or leave and find another place of employment. Well, Elise chose to stay because she really believed in the organization and what it stood for. So here's the kind of script that we worked at. We began with her speaking up in a group meeting about one of the ideas that she thought was important. We then added into the script, as we're anticipating what Steve is going to say, something sarcastic that he would want to do to interrupt her flow. Something like, well, that's a nice thought. And she knew he'd roll his eyes and chuckle to discount her. Then we added in this script we did in session what she would say to be assertive, not to be mean, not even to be directly confrontational, but just to maintain her sense of confidence. And this is what I told her. You need to speak directly to Steve when he does this and say something like, "You're not trying to shut me down, are you?" And you can say it with strength, no anger, just direct and firm. And of course, Steve then would have to say something typical to narcissistic behavior. Oh, no, nothing. I was just kidding. And then Elise, in the script you created, was going to respond something very matter-of-fact like, "Oh, it looked like you were rolling your eyes at me. Like you were trying to shut me down. Well, maybe I'm wrong. That's okay, I got it wrong. After all, we are all team players here, right?" And then I told her to lean forward and use an authoritative body language with the use of her hands and upper body. And she's a fairly enthusiastic person. I said, just go right back into that and continue your thoughts of where you left off. You don't let that interruption stop you from going forward with your ideas that you're sharing with your colleagues. But you also don't pretend that Steve, that he didn't do anything. But don't shame him and don't engage in any direct confrontation. And then I also said that, it's important to name the value that you want to champion, such as, we're all team players here, right? And then I suggested this, that what you could do at the end of the meeting is actually to go intentionally to Steve and say, "So whatever went on there, you and I are good, right?" And what you're going to find is Steve is going to comply. He will have to comply. And this is what I told her, because as you're doing the smile and you're inviting him into civility, more often than not, he's going to grab it because he's going to realize that you have power and he can't manipulate you. So he will begin taking his sights off you. He realizes he can't win against you because he knows that you can command a room. You know how to remain composed and not give up your power. Now, before Elise did this, right in the work situation, we actually practiced this in session. And this is what she said. But this doesn't feel like me. It feels like someone else. Is there any other way to do this? And this is what I told her. I said, assertiveness is not a personality trait, it's a skill. And when you learn assertiveness well, you're going to be able to deal with bullies and narcissistic people in ways where you won't be giving up your power anymore. It is going to feel contaminating at first. You're not going to want to do this. But if you want to thrive in organizational environments, then these kind of skills, well, they're going to be necessary. And I also told her that the script that we were creating together, it might not be the exact right one. That she'll have to find her way in getting the words just right so that they feel like they're authentic and reflect who she is. Now, this made sense to her. So, you know what she actually did? She went home and she practiced this in front of a mirror. Practiced until she became good at it. And this is a skill called pendulation. It's when you develop the ability to pendulate out of a collapsed, fearful state into an expansive, assertive place. Well, guess what? In the very next group meeting, Elise chose to speak up. And true to form, Steve did exactly the thing he always did. And with so much poise and grace, Elise tackled it head on. Steve had no idea what to do. He was not ready for it, and it worked. Elise looked at Steve, said what she needed to say, and then continued right on sharing her ideas with the rest of the team, sharing things that she'd been holding on to for a long time. And guess what? Her ideas made so much sense that the team implemented them right on the spot. Not only was she able to reclaim her power, she was also able to outsmart the narcissistic bully. Now, as a result, she reported feeling happier, much more excited about life, where she no longer felt small or like she had to be invisible to be safe. And these are skills that you can learn. And if you want to stay with me in this journey, I want you to grab this. It's a free resource on the 5 reasons why narcissistic abuse is so hard to heal. These are the very things that I teach clients like Elise. It's a free download, and you can grab it at smartempath.com/abuse. That's smartempath.com/ABUSE. You see, when you know the why, figuring out what you can do to recover, it becomes a whole lot easier. Well, I'm Dr. Michael Haggstrom, founder of smartempath.com. May love and peace be with you.